one then, the all-electric GFG Style 2030, a vision concept for the future, up against Ferrari's LaFerrari, the ultimate Ferrari hypercar. I'm not quite sure how quick this thing is, but of course electric power, instant torque, it's probably going to shoot off the line, you would think, four-wheel drive, versus the LaFerrari with its hybrid system, with the hybrid electric motors combined with a 6.3 litre V12. Interesting, let's see what happens in a second.
Ready, set, go!
Slightly unparalleled start. But the LaFerrari flies into the lead. Up next though, we have the Pagani Zonda Cinque on this side and a Koenigsegg Agera on the other side. As cars in a line together to go against one another, that's right up there with the best of the best. This is about to sound insane, one of the greatest sounding V12s, and yeah, I guess they're about to be off, so let's enjoy. Go. Of that V12, even if the egg won, the Zonda sounded glorious. So straight after that, Koenigsegg Regera with Koenigsegg's direct drive, basically 1800 horsepower, well 1500 because it's limited between the hybrid and the combustion engine, but that's going to go very, very quickly. This is also very, very quick, the Koenigsegg 1-to-1 with its 1360 horsepower, 1360 kilos, but this is the track car. You can tell that from the gigantic wing that it has mounted out from the roof and all the aero and flicks around the front. But two naked carbon cars to go up against one another in a race. I mean, Koenigsegg 1-to-1 and Koenigsegg Regera. Woohoo, we're in for a treat. Was fast, and as expected, the Regera took it. You could hear the shifts of the 1-to-1, but the Regera just keeps powering through with direct drive. And instantly another Regera. By the way, this car used to be the Cherry Bomb, the red one I drove, well, two years ago maybe, and it's going, oh, wing popped out, it's going up against the Huayra Roadster on the other side. I think the Regera is probably going to be much the faster of these two. Strange noise from the Regera with no shifting. Takes some getting used to hearing them on full load. That Agera sounds good. That sounded really good. Now these are cool, the Zagato versions of the Ferrari 599 GTB. These are the GTZ, Nibio, Spider and Coupe bespoke bodywork by Zagato, based on the 599, so the Super Grand Tourer of its era, with quite a distinct appearance to them. Really, really, really intriguing cars. Behind though I'm noticing Koenigsegg, Bugatti, Pagani. It's all just bonkers. Agera X, Huayra Roadster with the roof on. Oh, we've got a jump start. They were off. Now it's going to get very loud. I can tell you this SVJ Roadster is deafening, and it's against an SLS Black Series, so I would expect the four-wheel drive of the SVJ to help big time, and probably to keep it ahead because it's 770 horsepower versus 631, and obviously more modern tech in the SVJ. Although saying that, the SLS does have the dual clutch gearbox, whereas the SVJ has the automated manual. Oh, and then behind we've got Enzo and Purple Senna. I mean, it just goes on and on. Wow, the skill to play like that to film. Now then, Ferrari Enzo versus McLaren Senna. Of course, the Senna is the more modern car, 800 horsepower to 600 horsepower, twin turbo V8 to naturally aspirated V12. but Senna lots of downforce. Downforce equals drag in a straight line. It's not so helpful for the acceleration. Almost, if you wanted to get the fastest time, you would have a wing delete in a straight line. And yeah, I suspect if he uses the launch, then Senna's gonna have this one. I think we'll all be in agreement that the Enzo wins the sound contest, but the Senna definitely won the drag race. It's noisy, but this is cool. Another Senna against an F12 TDF. 780 horsepower at the rear wheels. Senna is off ultimately a couple of 100 kilos lighter, despite how good the TDF sounded, because the heli goes after them as well. Oh, this is going to be fun. That is actually the spectacularly loud Lamborghini Aventador SVJ Roadster roof off. That is the Bugatti Chiron Sport Skyview with the glass roof panels. Obviously, both cars have a lot of power and all-wheel drive. In this case, though, 770 horsepower from the 6.5 V12. In this case, 1,500 horsepower from the 8-litre quad-turbo W16. So, yeah, 770, 1,500. You think it's probably going to go one way, about 1,500 kilos, about 2,000 kilos. So, we'll see in a second, but obviously, Bugatti Chiron. And behind, Carrera GT and Zonda. It just gets better and better. Chiron was off, but the SVJ sounded good. In fact, you can hear it echoing around the mountains. That's awesome. Now though, 600 odd horsepower of manual, naturally aspirated V10 in the CGT, and similar kind of power in the Zonda. I'm not sure if that's a manual one, I think it probably is, that Zonda F, with Mr. Horatio Pagani at the wheel as well, so this should be... yeah, sounds awesome. And then behind, two more Paganis. It just goes on and on. And by the way, the Zonda Fs are all manual, or 25, so I think we know the answer to that question. Nicely done by those guys getting them off the line. Then we've got the Huayra BC, and the Huayra Roadster, and the SLR, and another SVJ, and the Vanquish Zagato behind. And I think in a moment, we might take mine. We've got the SLS just here, and these should be coming at some point shortly as well. That's also very cool. Resto Mod 300 SL from HK Engineering. Proper race car. Yeah, this is an epic, epic lineup of cars. Of some super convertibles then. The SLR on the far side, the DBS Volante on the near side. That's a nice colour, it has to be said as well.
Set, go!
That actually shows you how fast the SLR is. I think the SLR is actually out in front on that one. I was surprised, I thought the DBS would have it. But not from the Senna. And that gave it the head start. The Senna's definitely catching. On a long run, the Senna has that. The SVJ off the line though, really fast. Now, we've got the 300 SL race car. Let's listen to that. Pure old school alongside an R8 Spider. That's an unusual matchup, it has to be said. Nearly missed that one. But of course, the R8 is out in front. This time around we have LaFerrari against Pista Spider. Pista Spider, of course, the hardcore convertible mid-engined V8 car, but you would expect this to go in the favour of the LaFerrari. Tell you what, a good effort by the Pista. The LaFerrari is out in front, but that was closer than I thought it might be. It's another Chiron in green against another SLR, or 722S in this case. The Bugattis are so insanely quick. I mean, you can just see how far ahead it is. Bugatti Veyron Supersport, 1200 horsepower, world record speed holder at the time, 268 miles per hour, again, quad turbo, 8 litre W16, full carbon on this one of 48. Next, we're going to have the McLaren M6 GT, which is one of 2 road cars as it happens, and then we have a Ford GT40. I think the Bugatti won that one. I think the Bugatti won that one. Enzo and La Ferrari, the car that wears Enzo Ferrari's name versus the Ferrari. A generation between them, a decade basically between them. Huge changes from 600 odd horsepower to over 900 horsepower, 963 in fact, in the La Ferrari. But still, so epic together. Iconic cars. And then behind, by the way, we've got the 1-to-1 and a Zonda Cinque. That's going to be the coolest thing. Zonda Cinque, 1 of 5. Koenigsegg 1-to-1, 1 of 6. 2 iconic poster cars from 2 of the most awesome hypercar brands in the world. Pagani, the Italians, Koenigsegg, the Swedish. And they're about to go down the strip together.
Set.